Hello, I'm Sam Hansen and I'm joined by David Jennings at the end of the first day of Royal Ascot 2019. And DJ, I suppose if you were talking to the friends and family back home about how it was, first thing you say was a bit wet. But
yes, it was damp, it was reasonably miserable, it was warm, it was humid. I don't think we were expecting it because it was such a nice morning, and yesterday was quite nice as well, so it was a little bit of a dampener, but terrific action on the track.
Absolutely, yeah, very exciting stuff. One of the most exciting races for me, probably the King's Stand. I was willing on Batash, but second place again for him.
Yeah, it was like we just rewinded 12 months and went back to last year. You're thinking another blistering display by Batash. Everything seemed to go right, although he was on probably the wrong side for the first maybe 2 furlongs. And then I was just expecting him to go into overdrive. And it was just deflating then for Batash backers to see that final furlong once again, where he just doesn't have the stamina of Blue Point, who really saw it out. And he's such a thorough stayer over 5. He gets 6, we know that Blue Point does. He's a very, very solid, good horse. And he's probably not as flashy as Batash, because we come to expect explosive display from Batash, whereas Blue Point is more workmanlike. Yeah. And I tend to fall for the fancy ones, the flamboyant ones. So that's why obviously I fancied Batash. It was a terrific race. The 2 best sprinters in England, first and second, and you can't ask for more than that.
Absolutely, yeah, no, I'm with you. I like the flashy ones. Yeah, fair play to Blue Point though. I mean, he goes out to Dubai and wins out there as well, doesn't he? So, it's credit to him.
And he's so straightforward. You know, with Batash, we were looking at the preliminaries, we were seeing how he'd break, we were worried about him in the early part of the race. Nobody was worried about that for Blue Point. It was just completely plain sailing for Blue Point. He's a terrific horse.
Well, just to point out, I hope you can hear us above the music in behind. That's obviously the sing-along they do at Ascot. Bit of a tradition, not one I'm really a fan of.
No, my singing capabilities are just as bad as my tipping.
And talking of tipping, I don't think you had tipped Circus Maximus in the St James's Palace, did you?
No, I actually was talking to Aidan the day this horse was supplemented for 45,000, and you can't ring up Aidan O'Brien and go, Aidan, what on earth are you doing? But I was very tempted because I thought the horse wanted 1.5 miles. It was back to 1 mile, blinkers on, and I was scratching my head wondering where did he pluck this one out of. It was like, as you say, throwing a load of balls on the ground and then just picking up one, and it came up with Circus Maximus, but it wasn't. It was a carefully executed last minute plan that really came off, and he really dug deep. I suppose if he was to win the race, it was in the manner you would have expected, because he was never going to win on the bridle. It was a thorough, likeable display. He's a tenacious type of horse, and I suppose the ground came right as well. If it was lightning quick ground, you'd imagine he might have been tapped for toe. But a good race, a good renewal of the race. Phoenix of Spain was a little bit disappointing. Too Darn Hot, again, the race was there for the taking and he didn't take it. He's not as good a 3-year-old as he was at 2. He's been disappointing. Look, forgiveness is my biggest flaw, but I think it's time to give up on Too Darn Hot. He is a very, very good horse. He's just not a brilliant one.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I was talking to John Gosden yesterday, and he said he'd messed it up with that horse. You know, he said he got it wrong and run him in the wrong races, and he thought today was the day he'd get it all right. But yeah, perhaps like you say, he's just not as good at 3 as he is at 2.
Yeah, he's a very good horse, isn't it? He wasn't beaten that far in a St James's Palace stake. He was second in an Irish 2,000 guineas. He was second in a Dante. Look, he's a very, very good horse, but we're judging him by such superstardom that he's just fallen short. And will he win a Group 1 this season? It's probably odds against that he will.
That's it. So, David, the other talking points from today then. Good double for Danny Tudhope. That was nice to see. And Ian Williams having his first winner as well.
Yeah. For Danny, I thought it was a terrific day because both rides were really well executed. He needed to have real kind of nerve to ride Lord Glitters the way he did. We know that's the type of horse he is. You know, he needed to show his hand last, and he held on, and it was a perfectly judged ride, a really, really good ride from a horse that we knew would run well. But we just thought if there was a superstar in the race, he'd probably be a little bit vulnerable to a superstar, maybe a Barney Roy or something like that, but he proved disappointing. Obviously, all the drama was at the start with accidental agents staying in the stalls. Who knows what happened there? It deprived the race of some of its intrigue, but Lord Glitters, I think on his last 5 trips to Ascot, he's been second 3 times and he's won twice, so there are certainly worse courses to be specialists at, and he deserved his moment in the sun. And Danny on Adabe in the rain came in time. We know he handled soft ground. He was terrific last spring on soft ground, and it was very smooth and straightforward. 2.5 lengths was the winning margin, but he was value for much more than that. I fancied Elarcam. He was well beaten, but he ran his race. I think the ground was the key to the winner.
That's it. I mentioned Ian Williams there. I was very pleased to see him have a winner with the Grand Vizier. Just a nice guy, actually. Every time we speak to him, he's always got plenty of time for you, and he's just a nice chap. So nice to see him as first Royal Ascot winner.
Yeah, and like they went a proper, I thought in that race, given the distance, given the ground, they might just take it easy, but no, it was a proper end-to-end gallop. A lot of horses didn't get into it. Ryan Moore was on Build Me Up Buttercup, who I thought had a lot of improvement to do, but I know the horse was beaten. Willie Mullins is some man. Like, to lay a horse like that out for that race, like, you couldn't even imagine that horse running against the likes of Mengley Khan or Snow Falcon in a hurdle or chase in Ireland. And here he is, and you know, they put nicely clear of the third. He was just beaten by the winner, who was well backed as well.
And more like jumping weather today as well, so you thought Willie might come to the fore with that. But lots to look forward to tomorrow. We hope you can join us then.